can't handle none of this. I'm about to hurt myself. Lost some in the big night. Just a touch of your skin, creeping in the background, blowing on the wind. I'll sleep until morning through a crack inside. I am going nowhere. I am far away. Angels and his demons, many souls to save. So it's safer in the shadows, where fewer eyes can see. Wish I could get away from here, someplace out of reach.
Hello, welcome back to Deadfire. So last time we basically finished up all of our end game quests before the actual end game. Did all of our faction stuff, and then we did a bunch of inventory work to prepare our final companions. And everyone kitted out their equipment. Oh boy. Look at all this. Empower 5 abilities. Okay. And everyone's got weapons. Alright. Good. Everything got upgraded. That's not upgraded, but I don't care. I need a shield to be upgraded. Oh, you only have a superb robe. Hi, Elvac. Darren looks rad. He does. He's actually got the not silly shit. Well, other than his, like, bat, this is his weapon. Last time Maya abandoned us, which is very sad. We knew it was coming. Time to go. Sure, why not a cricket bat? Yeah. Sailing away on our ghost ship. It's our, oh, Ukaizo. That's what's now on our map. Fair enough. Is there like a, oh, there's fast mode on the world map. All right. There we go. Fast mode. It's a big map. You should probably not actually watch this. We are literally going into the equivalent of what you did last night in Pillars 1. So yes, probably not. It is a big, it's a huge map. Even as an archipelago. Hi, Elvac. Thanks for stopping by. There's plenty of ocean to sail and many lands to explore, but what lies ahead of you dwarfs them all. Should you choose to sail on, you suspect there will be no return. Not the Deadfire you have come to know. Yep. It's the end, the point of no return. Set a course through the channel and into uncharted, turbulent seas. Also through a fleet. Oh, well, maybe that's the Juana fleet, actually. Maybe they're waiting for us. Is that what that is? Andra's mortar rages on the horizon, a vast wall of roiling clouds and rain, punctuated by the silver flicker of lightning. The wind pushes against you, as if to ward from whatever lies beyond from Fonferris's approach. As if to ward whatever lies beyond from Fonferris's approach. Fonferris leads the fleet, crashing through the turbulent waters like an axe through armor. God's alive, Beadle mutters, staring up at the storm. Chittapek blinks at the blackening sky. Chittapek, at least, is from the... He's one of our very first starting guys, I think. Still with us. Knew an old salt once, claimed the mortar were the edge of the world. I called him a fool. Now, though, the navigator's head shakes sadly. Now I ain't so certain. The head bowed slightly. Eld Engram smiles. Today is as good a day as any to learn what the gods have in store for us. That's true in multiple possible ways. Shit, Captain, one of the hand cries. Hostile vessels inbound, forward port. With a shake of the head, Beodil emits a grim chuckle. It's supposed to be too much to ask to be let alone out here. Here comes Rawatai. The crossed cannons of the Royal Deadfire Company flutter and crack atop the masts of the approaching warships, each vessel bristling with heavy guns. Oh, please don't have Maya on there. The approaching fleet numbers at least as many ships as your own, maybe more. Beodil frowns against the wind. The fleet's turning, Captain, setting their gun ports against the enemy. Waving her hat overhead, Amini whoops eagerly. Finally, some God's damned excitement! The hands look at you from their stations. Beodil's eyes hold yours. The crew stands ready. What are the captain's orders? Okay. Inspect the fleet. Prince Aruahi's personal ship leads the vanguard of the Wana fleet, flanked by a dozen voyagers, backed by another half-dozen ships of varied make. Tribal banners dance about the vessels, and each pontoon bears the painted designs unique to its crew. None of that is inspiring to me against the Rawatayan fleet. Archers and sharpshooters stand at the rails, and robed water shapers crown each ship's bow. Now those are inspiring. Their ritualized movements smoothing the sea before the fleet. The persistent heartbeat of drums rise from the voyagers, and 100 voices chant your name. Well, that's not so excited about that. Wahaki war canoes churn the water among the voyagers, each craft crowded with face-painted warriors singing against the storm. Study the enemy. 20 Rawatine junks plow toward you in perfect formation. Their angular sails fill each armored vessel a deadly work of art, sporting a dozen bronze cannons. Soldiers stand at attention on the decks, rifles resting upon their shoulders. Look over your companions. Adair puffs on his pipe as he observes the enemy fleet from end to end. After taking a full accounting of the array of ships, he ashes his pipe, puts it away, and looks to you with a cheerful shrug. Aloth is paging through his grimoire, a look of calm concentration on his face. He meets your eye and smiles faintly. Chody raises her lantern before her like a shield of light. It flares once brightly in response, and she nods to you, ready. Despite her bravado, you notice a slight trembling in her hand. The cage of her lantern rattles as Chody waits for the battle to begin. She glances nervously to Adair, who returns her a reassuring half-smile. Takehu is clutching a lock of his hair. Takehu doesn't really have hair, does he? I guess maybe that's what you would call his hair. Unconsciously falling back on an old habit of self-comfort, a thin bead of ink trickles like sweat down the side of his neck. Ew. As he stares out at the fleet, the horror in his gaze seems far beyond his ears. When he notices you looking, he winks and beams a confident smile, but you've already glimpsed his true feelings. I mean, we gotta go in and help. Oh, we gotta help. I'm just worried about what it's gonna lead to. Personally speaking. All hands to battle stations. We're joining the stray. Take us into that storm line. Oh, yeah. The deck vibrates as cannon fire erupts from enemy and ally alike, filling the air with hot, hissing metal and banks of thick gray smoke. Beodil grasps your arm and thrusts a finger out towards the sea. They're coming at us full sail with the wind at their back. A small, fast ship has broken ranks with the Rawatine fleet and bears down on you. Heavily armed Mao warriors stand at the ready on the vessel's deck, their eyes focused on your ship. We can prepare for combat, that's fine. Maybe we should send the Wahaki in. Alright, let's send the Wahaki in. The Wahaki canoes quickly interdict the incoming ship, the amount lashing their boats to either side of the invading vessel with hooks before climbing aboard. The screams of your slaughtered enemies cling to the water. Great! Slaughtered enemies. I guess that's a positive. The rumble of cannons provides steady percussive accompaniment to the choral screams of the dying. Oh, lovely. The deck pitches and rolls with the twisting of the sea, and smoke drifts lazily across the choppy waves. Andra's mortar churns to the east, the shifting clouds and shimmering curtains of rain hypnotic. Beadle fixes you with a frown. Ain't over yet, Captain. The mate gestures out across the water. A pair of colossal galleons flank Prince Aruhi's Voyager. As the mercenary ships close on your ally, they pound the smaller vessel with repeated rounds of cannon fire. Ogre corsairs wave heavy clubs from the galleon's deck, impatient to board the Juana craft. Aruhi's ship is about to be overwhelmed. Your orders, Captain. Takei swallows and turns to you. Bring us about, Lendreth. Beodel, have the cannons readied. We're taking on one of the gallons. With grim nods, your mates snap to their tasks. Lendreth spins the wheels. Beodel calls to the cannoneers. Von Ferris turns, barreling toward the ogre-crewed galleons in hopes of offering your allies a reprieve. Irena points to a dark spot on the distant horizon. Oh, we're going into regular combat now. Okay. Don't know what class he is, but he's level 15. A Scourge of Abbott. Our ship is basically identical to theirs. Well, I don't think we want to smash our ship, sadly. Can I see what my ship looks like? Thank you. What? Where are my cannons? Where are my cannons? That don't make no sense. Where are my cannons? Okay, I hope that that's a visual bug. Holy shit. You gotta be kidding me. I don't have any cannons? Why the fuck don't I have any cannons? I'm gonna reload. I don't know why the ship does not have any cannons on it. It definitely had cannons last time we were sailing around because we were fighting people. Who knows? Hi, Rosa. Oh, you're not visible on the camera. Yeah, Rosa's under that blanket. Her head's poking out right now. But I think her head's poking out just off camera. Yeah, whatever. We're reloading. Yeah. Can you let me do the thing that... There we go. Okay. There she comes. I have no idea why my ship has no cannons all of a sudden. It's really dumb. Okay. Why? Where are my cannons? Oh, they're all over here for some reason. Even though none of my other shit is. I mean, that makes no sense. Wait. Oh. Oh. Okay. I think I see. Which is sadly, well, does have more hull health. This has less sail health. Hmm. Oh, I can't remove those, really? Seems sad. So I could. Hmm. I guess I probably do want more hull health. This thing's very slow. Well, it has a higher travel speed. Interesting. Lower combat speed. Interesting. Okay, well let's get these, I guess. These are the best ones, probably. Yeah, this is not good compared to this, probably. Well, this doesn't have a minimum range. That's nice. This is the high damage one. Alright, let's try this again. Let's put all the close-up ones on one side. Let's try see how that works out. The Wahiki kind of seem like they just take out one, so maybe I should have taken out, saved them for this one. I don't know. Alright. Okay. Well, a crew member has fallen overboard! Holy shit. I didn't realize that could even happen. Okay. Okay, that's good enough. So where do we want to turn now? Well, these would be fine actually at this range, so I guess we want to turn port. Oops. Chain shot. Low chance of dealing. Well, they don't have a lot of crew already, actually. Kind of like the idea of dealing grape shot. Ooh, what do they got here? A deer channel guns. Oh, those aren't as good. Imperial long guns, though. Those are equivalent to mine. A little bit longer. Nice. Ooh, what is that? Fire. We need to jibe. We need to fire our cannons. Turn to port. Are they running away? They are trying to run away. Is he gonna try and crash into me now? Let's turn to starboard. Whoops. I didn't mean to do that, but that works, I guess. Fire the cannons, okay. Grape shot, yes please. Well, they got it back up to 9. Crew members fallen overboard, alright. Oh yeah, what's with our, let me look at this here. So who fell overboard? Like, are they just dead? Are they just gone? Oh, sailors overboard. Oh shit. I didn't know how that worked. Die in 2 rounds or if the ship moves. Oh no. I fucking killed someone. I didn't know how that worked! Whoops. Really? Only 45%? Oh, we're too close now for these? No, we're still at 200 meters. Should be fine. Wow. Oh, because of the jibe, that's right. The jibe causes... Nice. Nice. Oh! Well, they no longer have any sails. Really? This is kind of one of my problems, is it's really hard to actually, like, figure out how you're supposed to... yeah, other than just straight up sinking the ship. Like, what is... It seems like you should be able to kill everyone, and then peacefully... Well, you know, whatever. Not peacefully, obviously, kill everyone. But, like, you should be able to take the ship without sinking it. It seems like that's difficult to do. Or maybe not, like the systems don't really support it. Okay, yep. Fire again, please. Also, this is not updating. I'm not sure why. Really? Also not sure one of the things, because the way this works, I'm not sure how to, like, when they're like this, I'm not sure how to, without them turning, I'm not sure how you, because you can't go to diagonal. So I don't know how you get on their side, if you even can. Oh, now it's, okay. Well, I guess we got a bunch of ammo from somewhere. I mean, they have no sails. They can't do anything. Oh my god. Well, I guess we're kind of falling behind here in terms of trying to kill their sailors. Yeah, this system is not great. It I It's a nice idea, but it doesn't actually work out very well. Like, the best thing to do is just to crash into them, which is not really what you want. Hey, we did it. There's no one there! They're all dead! How does this work? I guess there's 7 of these guys. Oh, they cannot be injured during ship combat. I just don't really want to take the sail damage or any of the other damage. Oh, okay, there we go. Now we can board without taking damage. There we go. Alright. So we can do it, it's just kind of complicated. Okay. Oh, I can also turn this game up, probably. Forgot this game is quieter than the other ones. Hi guys. Oh, there's Gun Draco, that's the captain. Why the hell is that a 9th level spell for him? Sucks. That just seems like a garbage spell. That's what I'm gonna put out there. Oh, hey guys. I forgot that you would be around. Look, guys, I kind of... What in the fuck? Oh, you guys are all running forward. That's the problem! Stop running forward! Oh my Jesus Christ. You dumb fucks. You idiot. Let's try that again without killing ourselves. Difficulty is this on normal, classic, whatever. Hello, Tick. It's not meant to be difficult. I just accidentally. They just all ran into their own AoEs.
Let's go.
Which was, I mean, it would have been fine. It's just a couple injuries. It was just kind of too silly for me to. Okay, maybe we'll just go with the tornado because that doesn't it's not a damage over time. Okay, like this one too. You guys can do this. Dare you still run up there? Yeah, I mean, a lot of times I've turned off the auto attack because of shit like that, but then sometimes it's really annoying when they don't. So I just try to keep on top of it. No. Why don't you have a good thing that's not this? We'll worry about that in a second. Tornado, I guess. Yeah, you guys are running all the way up there. What are you doing? Chody, why are you running up? You have a fucking... Oh! You don't have your weapon equipped. That would do it. And you don't have your gun equipped. Alright. That would be the problem. Okay, who is... Okay, you do need to be up there. Anyway, I don't know. Drop that guy down. Okay, now these guys are here. I don't really care. Just pillar them. Alright, there we go. I don't know if this is... they're a little weak to lightning. Oh, I got some skeletons. That's nice. I forgot that those would be here. Oh, hi, Edwin. You're almost dead. Oh, because again, we're... Wait, what is... Oh, somebody else! Oh, Vatnir! Vatnir summoned Storm of Holy Fire. Okay, let's... Oh, God. Let's get out of here. There we go. Chody, just heal everyone.
Behold me, mother.
Alright, there we go.
Let's reap
God, this really sucks without Maya. Loot recovered. Look at all that sweet loot. Share coins. Somebody gains level. Okay, that was very silly. Let's go back. See what else we had to do. The rising winds do nothing to clear the obscuring haze of choking smoke. Popping gunfire punctuates the timpani roll of cannons, and the shouts of desperate sailors vie with the screams of the dying. Enemy and ally alike disappear into the morass, which glows from within, illuminated by burning wrecks. A ship looms out of the darkness to port, and its crew call warnings in their desperate attempts to avoid a collision. They fail, and Fonferris heaves as the enemy vessel slides along its broadside. Another craft appears directly ahead. With no room to maneuver, Fonferris grinds up against it, sandwiched between two enemy ships. You're trapped. We're being boarded, Aloth calls. Pouring out of the haze, a squad of Rawatine troops cross the collected desks, firearms at the ready. As long as it continues not having... As long as Maya's not in the crew. I'm like 80% sure that's going to happen. If not in this sequence, by at some point in the end game.
I smell conflict in the air.
Are we not moving yet, guys? Is that what's happening? We're just like hanging out? Oh, there's a Juana sailor there. I'm confused. What's happening?
Sure thing.
I smell conflict.
Okay, there we go. I was like, what's happening? I don't understand. Okay, well, we can't really unload AoEs because there's lots of Juana here. So, I guess we can use, like, Lightning Bolt should be fine. What do I have that's friendly? That's not friendly. I guess Vines would be friendly. I don't know how useful it is. I wish you had more friendly stuff. Yeah. What else do you have? Sure, why don't we summon more vines?
That order's too tall.
There's a walloping.
Oh, those guys are like dying instantaneously to lightning bolt, so that may have been unnecessary. Well, weather mage, huh?
Let's go.
Get over there. Oh, I guess get over to this guy
You ask
first.
too much.
I cannot see what's happening here, but wait, there's a hawk. Why is there a hawk? Oh, the Deadeye gun hawk. Okay, so that's like it's the same thing as Maya, but it's not Maya. All right, do you have anything? Isn't this? Yeah, this is enemies only. Is this one enemies only? No, but those look like they're only enemies up there.
At your service.
Better than that.
Let's go.
Can we kill this guy? God, I hate that I don't have any DPS characters now. What I get?
I am the Alpha Predator.
Oh, no one's killing them.
Take him down.
Guys, we need to actually kill the guys we paralyzed. Is Decay just shouting about how he's the Alpha Predator because fucking lol. Is that allies only? The freezing pillar? That doesn't make any sense.
Let's go.
Oh, slow-mo.
Speak
Cannot.
line.
There we go. Is that what I needed to turn on to be able to actually see people? Von Ferris limps away from the broken wrecks gathered behind and breaks free of the bank of smoke. In the distance, Andra's mortar rages, nothing between you and your goal. To aft, the Deadfire Company's fleet lies scattered and broken, the remaining junks fleeing west toward Magran's Teeth and Sayuka beyond. Ragged cheers rise from your allies and compatriots, rather. Cheers claps into cries of horror as the surface of the water explodes upwards, tearing a nearby ship in half and throwing sailors screaming into the sea. A creature rises from the wreckage, a monstrosity of slick adra and gleaming metal. I said another fucking, whatchamacallit? Not a Hydra, you know, the thing that was in the Might March. Places a hand. Wait, who places a hand on your shoulder? We've had the God's own luck getting this far. Von Ferris don't stand a chance against whatever that is. Our only hope is the storm. We don't get to fight it? Captain, I say we must drive it away from our allies, even if that means... Takeu trails off and turns back to the railing and the advancing creature. He raises a shaking hand to his mouth. What's the difference between these? We've got to try to help, whatever the cost, or fire everything we've got. I mean, we do have to try to help. These both are just like firing cannons. Alright, we got to try to help, I guess. Surface of the water bulges, then bursts with a roar, like the crash of the surf. A dragon explodes? Oh, right, this is the three-headed dragon, right. The familiar scaled form of Sciorifilelphus sweeps low. Why is it a familiar form? Sweeps low, wings outstretched just above the white-tipped waves before spraying its briny breath over the metallic monster. Wait, which dragon? Oh, is this the dragon we let free? So not the three-headed dragon. Oh, right. Okay, okay. It is the familiar form. This has been a long game. Many months. I think playing these games like 3 hours at a time once a week is a very good way to experience them, except for shit like this, where I totally forget about it. The monstrosity turns on the sea dragon, and they slam into one another, tearing at each other with tooth and fang. Essence pours off the pair as they pound one another with their abilities at point blank. Aw yeah, kaiju fight! Go, now while I hold the attention of these beings. Scioreliphus' voice echoes among your thoughts. Our debts are cleared, Watcher. Turns from the... Someone! Again, someone doesn't have a name. Captain? We might not have another chance. All hands look to you. We've come this far. There's no turning back now. Sometimes the only way back is forward. Again, there's something's screwed up with this. Like, somebody doesn't have a name. The mate calls across the deck. All hands to stations. Time to show the gods what Funferis be made of. Andra's mortar looms before and above you, dominating the whole of the world. Rain begins to fall. Well, we avoided having to fight Maya so far, so that's good. The storms of Andra's mortar encompass the visible horizon. Hurricane winds roar like an imprisoned beast, blowing with enough force to warp the very seas. Past the curtain of rain and above the swell of waves, you can just barely perceive the outline of colossal adra-pillars. So everyone's going like, we don't know where Kaizo is. But somehow they never discuss the fact that there's, a giant impenetrable storm on part of the map, which seems like it would have been obvious, guys. Like, maybe that's where Kaizo is. Can't find it anywhere else. Maybe it's behind the impenetrable divine storm. The divine wind. Deep in concentration, the water shapers at the prow of your ship mirror a complex series of stances. Prayers to an Ngati begin as whispers and rise into songs, bellowed in a unified voice, matching the intensity of the storm. The sea responds with hesitation, sending up the occasional splash of water in protest. You begin to wonder if your allies are equipped to stand against the relentless fury of Andra's mortar. How is anyone else supposed to get through this storm? I guess if you have Fonferris, because you're the pirates, then maybe the ghost ship is like strong enough. Even the ghost ship doesn't have that much. Doesn't have it just has much hull stats as a galleon. It's not actually anything special. It just looks sweet. I don't know if you're with Rawatai though, what the fuck you're supposed to do. And then the very storm yields to their will. Wave after wave rises and swells into an assumed shape. Or, I guess, if you're with the Valians as well, same thing. First a wall, then an arch, forming a perfect curve that projects deeper into the storm. One of the water shapers sends up a call. The others make a finishing gesture in a single fluid motion, clapping their hands and extending their palms, solidifying their work. Are you not with him, Takehu? Shouldn't you be leading this or something? The tunnel remains intact. Your allies send up a congratulatory cheer as your ship crosses under the canopy of the sea. They fall silent as the distant shape stands out on the horizon, and you pause to appreciate it in turn, a sight that no mortal has glimpsed in thousands of years. Lost to Kaizo. Oh yeah. Ornate spires, reach up from the island, hinting at the city within. Not all of Ukaizo is weathered in the millennia with equal grace. Other structures jut and lean out of the surrounding shallows, making the waters around the island impassable by ship. You resolve to take a skiff the rest of the way. Alright, we made it! Took us an hour. Not like 40 minutes maybe, but 50 minutes. Alright. Oh good, some robots. I thought Chody was waving at them for a second, but no, she's just doing her regular idle animation.
Looks like trouble.
Yes, it does look like trouble.
Take him down.
Thing with its sentinels, interesting. What are they weak to? Well, defensive against piercing, which is not great for us. They're weak to constitution afflictions, which is interesting. I don't think I have any of those, but it's interesting. They are weak to lightning and very weak to acid. I don't know that I have any acid. Wow, 43%. Why is this so much? Oh, it's a reflex. Wait, no, that's fortified. Okay. Okay. Let's hit them with lightning. Adair, why don't you just try knocking him down, see what happens.
Useful as a bump on a pickle.
Oh, he kicked me! How dare he?
Worth and rough.
Oh, that seems bad.
It makes no difference. This does not work.
There we go. Paralyzed. I'm liking paralyzed. Whoops. You weren't supposed to stop. But
Luthen.
oh, dismissal works on these guys. Well, let's try that real quick. Dismissal is the best fucking spell. It really is.
Uh-huh.
Pile of debris hums with ancient power. Hmm. Withens really love their giant animated statues. And I mean, you can't really blame them. Faint echo of soul energy blinks up at you from the depths of the wreckage. Ooh, but I can't interact with it. Not enough of an echo to interact with.
At your
Oh, do you
service.
not have this on? Oh, okay. Yeah, do that.
Something I can
Do
do.
you have your shit on? Wait, why are you using a large shield? You're supposed to be using a medium shield. Oh shit. I didn't realize that you were using a large shield. Alright, can I type? No. Doesn't let me type. Okay, now I can type? No. What the hell? Okay, there we go. There we go. Oh, well, shit. I should have enchanted this one. I really don't have enough. Oh, fuck. Damn it. Well, that was actually, that would be good. Shit. Well, that was a misstep. So
Yeah.
then he can, yeah, have this. Okay. Wonder what the difference is, though, between... Deflection 4. Oh, a lot, probably. Yeah, it is a lot. Ooh. Ooh. So much. Maybe I do need to give him this. Even without the parry, that sucks. I wish I had realized that
Good thinking.
last time and upgraded the proper one. Oh, hello. Well, obviously we're just gonna go, you know, oh yeah, we can't even go to the other ones. Okay.
What do you need? I trust you. I hope you got a way of turning off that storm. Looks unfriendly. Mean-spirited, even.
Erosion has softened the bronze features, giving the proud statue a brooding air. Well, we still haven't located Aethys.
That looks complicated.
Sending in the city would be suicidal while the storm wages on. Okay. Fair enough. A furious storm obscures the sprawling city below, but you can make out the shape of distant spires reaching up from the flooded ruins. Spirit winds tug on your soul at distance like a stern hand trying to pull a cloak from your back. You recall the last time you encountered a bivouac. Feels like a lifetime ago. Hey Fiona, there you are. How's it going? So, here we are. You look to those who've accompanied you this far, risked everything to face the confrontation ahead. Alright, let's have some chats. How are you feeling about all this, Adair? Adair's gaze wanders among glinting archways and half-collapsed spires, his mouth agape.
Gilded Vale got its name from the way the wheat fields used to look in the sun. But this place really is gilded.
You had a fun troll in Nick's stream. Can't wait for you to see it. Is it a fun troll or is it a bad troll?
Might as well be a different world.
In a way, it was, before it ended. Oh, it's hilarious. Okay.
Ended. Yet here we are, all the same. These great people got a funny way of passing on. They disappear from the world, but leave their problems behind for the rest of us to deal with.
Do they leave? I guess they kind of do leave their problems. Not. Also, they haven't really disappeared from the world, considering they made the gods. I don't think that that's true. That seems like bullshit. Let's see. What about this one? Yeah, I guess we'll go with this. I don't really want to say that Aethys is correct or trying to correct something. I was watching some of Nick's stream, but I was kind of tuning out because I was also watching somebody else, and then obviously I came to start my own. So I'll go see, I guess. That's why we're here. We're gonna face this. Whatever comes, we're gonna see these people. We're gonna see people through.
I guess maybe that's one good thing that's come out of this. At least for me. I got something to do with my life that doesn't involve hauling or shoveling.
Adair, you haven't hauled or shoveled anything like for several years. Okay, I mean, yeah, I'll definitely read the Discord. I keep up. You were a soldier. I guess maybe after you were a soldier, you were maybe a farmhand for a while, but then I met you, and then you came along with me, and then we did our whole adventure, and we killed some bad guys, and then you were mayor of a town for a while, and then you came back and stayed with me, and then our castle got blown up, and you rescued my unconscious body and got me on a boat, bought me a boat for some reason. Well, I know why, but also healing in WoW. Okay, Fiona.
You even got a friend or two out of it.
He smirks. Aww.
Whole world's about to face the biggest test it ever saw. What Aethys is doing, it's gonna change everything. We may not survive. Kith, I mean.
I like that addition of we may not survive Kith, I mean, because it suggests that the first interpretation of that is like the party may not survive, and by adding that he means, people as a whole, I think Adair is proud of taking it as a given that the party's not going to survive. Um, oh, I love Adair. What is what's the healing? What is your healing class, Fiona? I don't know what the roles are in WoW.
You know, I broke a wheel once too. First thing I thought of when we learned what Aethys was doing.
Really, Adair?
My mom had this spinning wheel, and she loved it.
Adair bites his lower lip, his guilt still evident.
Well, I was playing with it in the way a young child might when his parents are out, and that wheel came right off.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't go back into place, so I pushed it harder and harder, and pretty soon I'd broken off a spoke. Broke off 3 more trying to fix that. Anyway, I got whipped pretty good for it. That wheel was never the same, even after my dad fixed it.
Uh-huh. Adair runs a pair of fingers back and forth across a beard in need of trim. I don't know that this really compares, Adair, but I do.
I used to think of the gods as being like parents to all of us. Now I know better. They're children, playing while their folks are gone.
I don't think either of those things are true, Adair. A druid healer? Oh, of course you are, right. But you can't be a centaur, can you? Or a deer tar. Adair looks to Aethys in the distance and sighs. Can we see Aethys from here? I thought we couldn't see him yet. I guess we can see him here. You're looking thoughtful, Aloth. Aloth looks out at the sprawling ancient city. Fiona says, no, you cannot, fucking cowards.
5 years ago, you controlled the destiny of thousands of souls in Sun and Shadow.
He pauses, considering the vista.
But the choice you make today shall define the fate of every living thing in Aora.
Turns to you. Curiosity shines in his eyes, but there's something else there. Pity. So Aloth, on the other hand, is completely 100% assuming we are gonna win against a god. He's already thinking about what we do after we win. What do you think I should do?
And to think of all the times I've asked you the same question.
Yeah, I know. So it's only fair play, right? I will only play Rita on day you can play a Dryad, the Centaurs. He takes a deep breath, thinking.
I suppose if it were up to me, I'd want to ensure that Kith are free to define their own future. To triumph or fail by our own decisions.
He looks over the ancient broken city. Something I was thinking about when I was watching Elvac stream last night is I'm really curious to look back. I'm curious to go read a lot of things about this game, about the other stuff that can happen in this game after I finish it. But one thing I that specifically I thought about that I hadn't really thought about too much is there's the possibility at the end of 1 that Aloth can basically take up Theos' place and take over the Leaden Key. And that's a completely fine thing that's the thing that can continue into this game, and I'm like, how different is Aloth if he is now running the Let-In Key? It seems like he should be vastly different, but I'm guessing he's not. You know, I mean, it seems like his involvement should be completely different in this game. Like, he really shouldn't be just this guy who signs up with you because he's just kind of got nothing else to do, which is what he kind of is here. I'm assuming it's not that different, but I like this dialogue obviously would be completely different because he has a completely different perspective in that case. Aloth looks over the ancient, broken city.
But it isn't up to me.
He pauses, looking back at you. Why? I think this can be a group decision, guys. I don't know why you're all putting me in charge, other than I'm always in charge.
I know you'll choose wisely. And no matter what happens, it's been an honor journeying with you. Again.
He puts his hand on your shoulders, meeting your gaze with a fond smile. Okay, I mean, I feel like we could have had this... he turns back to regard the great city before you. This, you know... We didn't know we were going to get through the storm, but I guess it makes sense to have it at this point. How about you, Chody?
We gonna do this or what?
Chody licks her chapped lips, dark gaze narrowing as she takes in the sight of the ancient city's ruins. Raised high, her lantern casts hard shadows over the plains of her face.
We've made it this far, yet we're still alive. Might as well square off with my god before our luck runs dry.
Was it worth it all to chase down your god?
Reckon it was. Sure, I did some things I now regret. God knows I got plenty of blood on my hands.
You have killed a lot of people, Chody.
Tell me, Watcher, can there be a god of light and birth if souls themselves can no longer be reborn?
The souls will still be reborn, Chody. Jesus Christ. I understand that some people are confused about this, but you should not be confused. She points her lantern toward the shadow ruins in the distance, Ukaizo's broken bones. Do you think we can reason with him?
It didn't work so good at Mogren's teeth, now. But sure, we can try to sway my god's will again. Well, if anyone could do it, I reckon it'd be you.
This feels like it's gonna be one of those things that's like Saren in Mass Effect 1 or the Elusive Man in Mass Effect 3, where if you've had the conversations every point throughout the game and pushing the same thing at the end of the game, you can actually finally sway them. And I have no idea whether I've been pushing the same thing with Aothis, because I think I've mostly been not saying things to him.
I thought it'd be different how it turned out. But I couldn't dream of any other way.
Chody sets her jaw, grim.
Now then, shall we go face my god for one last time? Find out what it is we can or can't do in these end times.
Sure, Chody.
Whether we're meant to wither or thrive.
Yeah, let's go. I'm gonna shrug. Chody thumbs the copper cage of her lantern in a subconscious attempt to reassure herself. Here we are, Takeu. How's it feel?
I am thinking that Aothis has come this far, and he will not wait on you before he finishes what he started.
It was tempting to just to go through 3 of them and then ignore Takeu, but Takeu regards you with a raised up brow and a cautious smile.
If he shatters what is sat in the heart of Ukaizo, this action will ripple beyond the Deadfire, beyond life as we know it. The Hawana could use a change, an upset, something that gets them working together. History has shown that we thrive in adversity.
Oh, you're talking about the shock doctrine. Turns to face the surroundings, struggling to take in everything at once.
The land of my mothers, as real as anything that rises up from the bed of the sea. Also, smaller than I expected.
He lets out an exhausted laugh.
This should be as interesting as the last time I confronted a god-possessed Adra Colossus.
Shrugging, Takeu gestures ahead. You get around, but I know you haven't done this before.
Captain, I am my mother's son. I have seen things you would not believe.
He folds his arms and winks.
What say? Shall we find him, Captain?
Takeu nods, his brow furrowed. Takeu gestures to the path ahead, his lips twitching in a hesitant smile. I think we're as ready as we can be. Let's go. tiny engraving reads, "In memory of Dumu, Tapua, and Tokuhima, Ngati's first chosen." Okay, interesting. Nothing down here. Alright. Guess we're going this way. To Andra Spire. Well, it's gonna take us an hour and 25 minutes. It's a lot of walking through these city streets in this huge storm. Oh, look at that. Well, isn't that fancy? I guess this is all we get to interact with. Hopefully this turns it off. The dice atop the tower spins in wild, blurring revolutions. The air around it is still and calm. You stand in the eye of the storm, which has cordoned off Andra's mortar from the rest of Aora for thousands of years. You see an antiquated control panel, its levers engaged in positions of activation. Standing uncharacteristically still, Takeu turns his head to take in the surroundings all at once. A deep furrow cleaves his brow. Something the matter, Takeu?
I have stood here before.
He sniffs, glancing around with an air of familiarity, settling on details like they were old friends. How? I mean, I'm assuming past life. I feel like I should be able to make that jump as a watcher.
As a boy, I dreamed of a tower made of water. I stood at the pinnacle and made obeisance to Mother Ngati.
Oh, sorry, not past life. Dream.
This tower, this view.
Plants his hands on his hips and surveys the vista beyond, nodding. Is Ngati trying to tell you something?
Kara, just so.
Takeu nods, weighing the matter with care.
Ngati's covenant, the first form of water shaping. It is here, waiting for me.
He glances up at the spinning machinery with a mixture of apprehension and wonder. Glance toward where he's looking. Beyond the machinery itself, Takeu seems to be focusing on the storms, or merely the empty air. He shakes his head when he takes note of your attention.
I can feel it all around this place. The ones who built these machines used our connection to Ngati against us. These storms are a perversion of my art, an expression of beauty as a weapon.
So, if they used your people's connection to Ngati, when were these built? Because the timeline we have gotten so far in this game is there were 3 powerful empires, which included the Ingwithans, the Huana, and some other people that I don't remember, weren't that important. And the Ingwithans did all their shit, where they were doing all their research, and they, figured out there were no gods, and then they came up with their plan, and they tricked the Huana into helping them, and they killed everyone in Ukaizo. They set up their machines in Ukaizo, killed everyone to create the gods, along with, lots of other, they killed lots of other people. And then afterwards, it does seem like afterwards, but then that's when Ukaizo was depopulated. It seems the wheel was built afterwards, according to Wodaka, which makes, because the gods built the wheel. And the wheel was built in Ukaizo. And I guess whenever they built it, they also probably was when they built this machine to create Andra's mortar. So I guess that makes sense. I'm just trying to think through the timeline. And they put it here because it was conveniently abandoned, I guess? And had a bunch of machinery already that they had used, probably, that they could repurpose. I guess that makes sense. How is that possible?
The tribes always said that Ngati's chosen would show them the way to the past. I do not think they meant it so literally as this, that I would stand on glorious Ukaizo.
I wonder what you would do if you don't have Takeo here.
Now that I am here, it is like the city herself wishes to speak.
Takeo winces and touches his brow. Reach out with your senses to try and experience what he feels. The sense of age and weariness about Ukaizo is undeniable. You try to pick out any lingering soul from the ambience, but the storm in the center of the city makes your work difficult. And then it hits you, a presence that suffuses the air around this machine, an accumulation of very ancient soul energy, anchored to this point, commanding your attention.
Dumu the eldest, Tapua the wise, and Tokima the recaller. Step forward and be recognized.
Hello, Andra. A feminine voice echoes from across millennia.
You are the stewards of my covenant. For so long as your people guard the Isles, the Audra, and themselves, then a measure of my power is theirs to command.
Her words grow indistinct, and you find yourself pushed away from the moment. Your focus slips, depositing you back in the present with a wave of nausea. These were not the memories of someone dead, but someone very powerful, who intentionally bound a fragment of themselves to the spot, and she did not wish for just anyone to listen. You were right, Takeo. Covenant is here.
So beautiful. But look what they have done with you.
He reaches a shaking hand up to the storm, curling his fingers, as if to grasp something. It's weird to, like, the idea that the Ingwithans, like, corrupted their connection, the Juana's connection to Andra. Like, the Ingwithans made Andra. Andra didn't exist until the Ingwithans made her. He covers his heart with one hand and lowers his head, muttering a slow and fervent prayer. From the broiling madness of the storm, a single drop of water lands on Takeo's brow, running down his cheek like a tear. Takeo wipes his eyes dry with his thumb. He pauses to stare down at his hand as if seeing it for the first time. Say nothing.
I remember.
He clenches his hands into fists. The storm surges around you as the winds pick up speed. Takeo's head snaps back and his eyes squeeze shut in agony, ecstasy, or both. He rouses at last, shaking a few droplets of moisture from his hair.
I am the tremor that inspires the tidal wave, the pebble that calls the avalanche. Mother, your son has found his birthright where you left it.
Takeo raises his fists to the sky and lets out an uproarious laugh. Eventually, he shifts his focus over to you.
My people never doubted that Ngati's chosen would find our ancient gift. Takara, I did not share their confidence until now. I am ready, Watcher. Let us finish what we started.
He nods to you, resolved, and wearing a fierce grin. A deep percussion shakes the tower by its roots. Somewhere in the obscurity of the storm, Aothus rears back his fist to deliver a mighty blow. The control panel has weathered millennia better than the rest of the city. A layer of dust covers its elegant glass tubes and engraved copper levers, which appear both intact and fully functional. Is this where you would jump to if Takeo wasn't here? Would you just skip all of that entire scene? Deactivate the machine. You grip the largest of the levers and bring it up to its starting point. The vibration of the machinery gradually slows and turbulent winds grow calm. Oh, it's that easy. We just grab the largest lever and just move it to the opposite position. Easy to turn off. Look at that.
The machine controlling the storm winds down. The clattering of its machinery settles into a low whir and then, at last, hiccups to a halt. Beyond the tower, the black, roiling clouds of Andra's mortar roll away from the ancient city of Ukaizo, with only a tired sigh of wind to see them off. And on that last breath of wind, comes to you a familiar sound. The ring of a bell.
The narrator's so good in this game.
The bell's ringing is soft, not the clangor and torrent you've grown used to. It calls to your soul, and your soul yearns to follow it. Your soul flees from your body and into the beyond, chasing that sound. It leads you at last to Bareth's realm, to that cold platform and room of endless doors.
Watcher, your journey nears its conclusion.
The pallid night stands before you.
Right, I don't need to
her
read.
gaunt face impassive.
Say nothing.
Soon you will confront Aethys for what will likely be the final time, and you will do so as the Herald of Bareth, the only creature on the face of Eora to whom he will listen. Remember that.
The pallid night inclines her head to you, black hair hanging lank in her face. She steps back and cedes the floor to Helia with a small, resigned sigh.
Never pronounce it Helia. I say Hylia. I guess it's supposed to be Helia.
If Aethys truly intends to go through with his mad plan to destroy the wheel, a generation's worth of souls will be trapped in the in-between. So many would suffer. How can Aethys be so cruel? He cannot just abandon them. Aethys must help the Kith find a quick solution.
Look at this sweet bird lady. That's my bird lady. Of course, then she apparently made, like, Bird Apocalypse in Elvac's game. Fuck, that shit was real. Like,
Abaddon strides forward.
Eothas thrust this crisis on the Kith. They did not bring it upon themselves. Their only mistake was entrusting us to watch over them. Who will help them rebuild their world now?
Bird Apocalypse is fine, though. I suppose. Huh. Only mistake was entrusting us to watch over them. That's true. That's interesting that this is Abaddon. I believe this is Abaddon who remembers what happened to him. He remembers when Andra fucking killed him. For kind of trying to do the same thing Aethys is doing now.
Aethys will reveal every secret of the gods. Will Kith be able to change the established order if they have no wonder to inspire them? Aethys must help them resolve this quickly, lest every one of Eora's few remaining mysteries be laid plain.
Say nothing.
With the wheel destroyed,
Oh, hi,
Kith will
Wodika.
tear themselves apart. It is the gods' duty to prevent that happening, lest they doom us all. And as Kith must be ruled, so too must the gods. I say that if Aethys is so eager to throw down the mantle of power and step aside, I shall take my rightful place as Queen of the Gods again.
What does that have to do with anything, Wodika? I think this is, I mean, so, like, the entire, Theos' whole plot well, part of, the main driver of Theos' plot in Pillars 1, right, is to restore Wodika to being Queen of the Gods after she was thrown down by the other gods. So, I assume that, like, and you know, we've got the book where we talk to Wodika in this game, which maybe we should check again before we go. Hey, Mary. So I assume that Wodika's... Oh, thank you, Mary. Well, you're great, too. You're so great. I assume that Wodika, just like anytime that there's a question of like, you know, what should we do? And Wodika's like, well, I think the solution is I should be queen again. And everyone's just like, yes, we know, Wodika. Like, just, you know, like, also Carthage must be destroyed, sort of thing.
Kith are strongest when they
Oh,
follow
hi,
our
Andra.
lead, and we are strongest when we lead in turn. United in purpose with the gods, Kith can accomplish things that without us, they could never have even begun. They must be shown their boundaries to surpass them.
If you've never seen Andra in this game before, welcome to a marvelous character design.
Kith will not solve Aethys' puzzle on their own. And without an established order to fight against, the bonds that bind them dissolve, and they fight amongst themselves.
So Skane, the god of rebellion, his position about Aethys' rebellion is it will leave people no one to rebel against, and therefore it's bad. Skane sucks, by the way. I mean, he is literally the definition of controlled opposition. Say nothing.
Boudica's firm hand is but the motherly smothering of Helia by another name. Mortals should have no special advantages. Only once Kith have striven to improve themselves through trial will they truly know their measure. Kith must suffer to find their strength if they are to survive the world into which Aethys drags them.
Alright, thanks, Ron Paul.
Our intervention in your struggle would be a cruelty and counter to our purpose.
He lets his words hang in the air for a moment. Gaze, level with your own.
Indeed. Kith must discover for themselves what it is they are worth, and of what it is they are capable. What we do for them, they do not learn for themselves. Trial breeds ingenuity. If our work of generations was not in vain, Kith will succeed in spite of Aethys' actions. I have faith in Kith's ability to meet Aethys' challenge. Do not mistake my words for indifference, Watcher. They are born from a fierce belief in your potential, not a refutation of it.
Wow, Magrin believes in us. That's kind of surprising. Say nothing.
Magrin is blinded by her affection for mortals. She does not see that entropy is the destiny of all things. If Aethys were wise, he would destroy everything. End life, end reincarnation, end death.
What would that mean, Rimmergand? You can't end endings. That's just keeping things alive. With strange aeons, death does not die.
Kith have had their chance. It is time to let silence reign.
I guess he could mean the death of death is there's no one to die anymore because there's no one. I suppose that's what he means.
As Rimmergon's words fade, the pallid night returns.
Hey, Breath.
She no longer towers over you, a giant even among the gods, but meets you at your height.
Well, not according to the
She
art.
lets the arms crossed over her chest fall to her sides. She speaks to you openly, plainly, an expression almost like tenderness, turning up the corners of her lips.
It would be really nice to have actual art for this one moment. Like all the other, I mean, all the gods' portraits are the same portraits they use in every scene those gods are in. They just have the one portrait of those gods. So it would be nice to get one unique additional portrait, because it would be really cool to have that. Like, that's a really good visual. It's still a really good visual in writing, but it would be really neat to actually see her shrink down and her put her arms down, because this is what she always looks like.
Well, Watcher, you know where we stand. What do you believe?
Well, is this the ultimate say nothing? So what we know from Boudica, which is not in the game originally, but it is helpful to have it now, is reincarnation existed before the wheel, but it was spotty. There was a lot of stillborn children or hollowborn children. So the wheel is kind of like, the wheel is useful. It is, and it is something that could exist without it's not really part of the god structure. It is a genuine improvement in like life expectancy, based on what Wodaka told us. Of course, Wodaka could be lying because Wodaka has every reason to lie, but I think we're supposed to take her as truthful on that. In which case, we would like the wheel to be fixed. We would also like to get the gods to fuck off. I'm not sure how to get both of those things. I think we are better off without them. I mean, that's my firmest belief. Alright, we'll go with that. Everything that's happened, everything that will happen, it's the gods' fault. We're better off without you. I mean, my ship is literally called the God's End.
The gods were once Kith, thousands of Kith from long ago, but Kith still. If we are diseased at our core, as you imply, then so too are you.
No, that's not the way it works. If you take a whole bunch of shit, a whole bunch of not shit, of perfectly okay stuff, and you shove it all together and it rots, it doesn't mean that the regular stuff was bad all along. It means you did a bad thing to it.
Now the time has come for us to part, Watcher. I laid upon you a difficult duty. You will be free of it in time, but not now. You have work to do yet. You are no stranger to hard choices. You killed Theos, and when his soul was laid bare before you, you chose to banish it to Braith Aemon.
I did not actually remember
You gave
that.
him the justice you believed he deserved.
I didn't remember at all what I did to Theos, so thanks for the recap.
Remember the strength it took to make that choice, and know that you alone may sway Aethys now. When you stand before him, choose your words carefully.
The gods depart one by one in brooding silence. A solitary figure remains perfectly still until the last
Watcher!
of the colleagues is out of earshot. Wodaka peers down at you, a triumphant grin splitting her weathered features.
You know, one thing I guess I'm not really sure on still is, what does destroying the wheel have to do with... What is Aethys trying to achieve? I still don't really know. How does destroying the wheel... He wants to basically end the gods' control over humans. Or Kith, rather. But how does destroying the wheel do that?
Bareth is a fool if she thinks I'll let her enjoy the last word.
Of course, yes. No one would ever think you would let anyone have the last word, Wodaka.
You were trusted with a heavy responsibility, Watcher. Speaking for mortals, and representing their interests in the future to come.
God, I've heard enough of you, is my honest answer, but we'll say, did my choices teach you anything about us? Where's my say nothing on this option? Where she just keeps ranting at me for a while.
You weren't wrong to trust the Huana. They built their society to last. But that hasn't stopped their tribes from buckling under the pressure of foreign occupation.
So this is more stuff that was added by the patch, I assume. Part of the whole Wodaka will comment on everything.
How many of her people did Queen Onakaze imperil while she placated her enemies? How close did her simpleton brother come to drawing his weapon at every negotiation?
Why are the gods so meddling in this world? You're gonna have to detail your question more. In what context, I guess? Because normally they're not very meddling, but also they were made to meddle. Like, you know, they were made to control people. So, like, do you mean why they're talking to me? Or...
Then there's the deplorable incident at the Powder House.
Who did that, then? Who did what?
And yet, they have earned your confidence in a gamble that could decide the fate of all mortals. Why is that?
Oh, who made them to meddle? The Ingwithans. Which are the ancient society, super advanced society that slaughtered hundreds of thousands of people to create the gods. And then spent millennia killing anyone who advanced to a similar technology level or discovered the secret. They don't all seem like they can be bothered. No, I mean, they don't. A lot of, I mean, like I said, a lot of them, there are a number of them that exist to, like, that are controlled opposition. They exist to be the devil's advocate, basically. So Rimmergand is the god of endings, who's just there to be like, I think everything should just cease to exist. And they're just like, yes, okay, noted, Rimmergand. Just gotta keep that in mind, that's a position. And Skane's the god of rebellion. What happened to that old civ of people? Well, they mostly died to create the gods. And the ones that didn't die became either they, you know, like either they formed other civilizations or part of them became part of the group that was monitoring everything, like the missionaries initially. Initially, they sent out a bunch of missionaries to convert everyone to their new religion, which is helped by the fact that their gods could actually demonstrate, you know, actual power. And then those people eventually became the secret society in the first game that you're tracking. I mean, one of the other civilizations of the time that was coexistent with the Ingwithans is the Huana, which is the city of Ukaiza, which is where we are, is their capital that was destroyed. Or wasn't destroyed, they killed everyone in it. The Ingwithans tricked them. The Kith... So Kith is just all of the... Kith is just people. It's people that are... So it's all just because they're not all humans, right? They're also the elves and the dwarves and the Orlans and the Amawa and whatever. So yeah, Kith are, I mean, they're descendants of... There are a lot of people in the world, even at the time of the Ingwithans. There were multiple civilizations. And everyone that's around is, you know, still just descendants of those same people. There were some Ingwithans left, and there were other civilizations left. So... the archipelago is theirs, and so is Ukaizo. That's the honest answer of why I sided with Juana, because they're the indigenous people. It's their land.
Uh-huh. Consider my curiosity appeased. For now, in our grandest plans, you are a singularly unpredictable variable. You play a dangerous game by investing your hope in others. Deception and failure are woven into the fabric of mortals. I can safely promise that they will disappoint you before long.
Say nothing.
Whether you heeded my wisdom or not, everything you've done to get this far has informed our view of mortal kind. I hope you're satisfied with your performance. We've learned much from each other.
Say nothing.
Nothing could convince me that mortals are equipped to steward their future. Your efforts to prove me wrong were admirable, and my detractors will likely use your example to oppose my rule.
You really like to say nothing. Yes, it's the running joke. I love that they almost always give the option to say nothing when talking to the gods, and especially in the earlier scenes when you have a lot of gods talking to each other, you actually get like extra dialogue. I mean, obviously you would get different dialogue when you actually say things, but you get extra dialogue sometimes because they will forget that you are there because you're just saying that, standing there not talking, and then they'll like be like start talking about something, and then one of the other guys is like, "Shut up! Don't talk about that right now. They're still here," which is very good.
The Juana may reign over this archipelago for now, but Eora is vaster than they know. A difficult road lies ahead of me. Your alliances have made proving my argument an uphill battle. Well done, I suppose.
Wow, that's almost a compliment.
Aethys will no doubt have a sunnier outlook on mortals and their chances of success. He already has everything he wants, so go and listen to his empty-headed idealism. The rest of us will be sharpening our blades, preparing for the future he lays out for us.
Yeah, we still don't have a way to kill you. Wow. Oh, hi, Aethys! Consciousness returns in a wave as the last of the machine's energy dissipates. The calming of the storm reveals the sprawling city around you, like sand wiped from a mosaic. You see the distant outline of Aethys, raising his fist in triumph and purpose.
You keep falling asleep on me, I'm gonna have to start walking behind you with a pillow. Oh, by the way, the storm's gone. Also, I think Aethys has ended the world.
Adair takes a long draw from his pipe and nods as he stares at the Colossus in the distance.
It seems we're all still here.
Oloth glances around, rubbing his head gingerly.
Do not touch the machine again, I say. The delicate fish can only take so much.
Squeezing his eyes shut, Takeru rests his head in his palm.
Gods and darnation. My head.
Oh, did you all fall over and hit the ground? Jody presses a palm to her brow as she struggles to her feet. Peering over the edge of the tower, you make out a distant shape amid the ruins below. An iron-studded warship. Oh no. Shit. I said that this would happen. Has dropped anchor in the shallows, its cannons angled to the shore. The ship is nearly cracked in half, but the standard of the Royal Deadfire Company persists in flapping with the breeze. The empty deck tells that the surviving crew have long since boarded a skiff and rowed to shore, which means you're no longer alone on Ukaizo. Maybe they came to negotiate? Oh no, they're up here already? No, they're not. My mouse is just over to the side. I thought the game was panning, but that's just because that was where my mouse was. Oh no. Oh no. I kind of forgot about the idea that this would happen, even though I talked about it earlier that this is going to happen. So we have to go back to the Grand Promenade. This is probably where we're going to have our confrontation. I wonder how the game decides who your enemy is going to be, like the actual big enemy. It kind of makes sense for it to generally be Rauatai if you're not siding with Rauatai. Like in New Vegas, you're kind of always facing down. Oh no! Fuck. No one's concerned about the big boy. I mean, Adair said, you know, like, I think Aethys is ending the world. I'm more concerned about this. I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick, then we'll come back and we'll have this very sad fight. Why is this worse? Well, there's probably going to be dialogue in a second that tells you. Hazanue Karu approaches, her weapon drawn. Her face is bruised and cut, and her uniform torn from the rough journey, but her eyes are clear and focused on you.
Here's a sight I never thought I'd see. A trencher turning her back on her own people.
Uh-huh.
Captain, Watcher. There's a right and a wrong about this, drawn as clearly as a line in the sand. I know what side I'm on.
She grips her weapon and stares you down. Shiza glances between you, seeming less certain. So if you don't remember from when you've seen my streams before, this is Maya. This is a party member that I spent a bunch of time to be able to romance. She left because I asked her to choose between Rawatai and me. She chose Rawatai.
What did it cost for you to sell out your homeland?
Why are we arguing about this when Aothis is destroying the cycle? He's not actually, but let's try and get something out of this diplomatically.
I can't stop him. Neither can you. But I can give my country a chance at weathering what comes next. Roataians, defend.
Oh God!
Kaizo.
It's just immediate. There's no... Okay. Fuck! I thought we'd have at least a little bit of chance of some kind of dialogue. Yep, Maya's hostile. Okay. Fuck. Seems like a... Yeah, I mean, to be fair, she is an assassin for basically the British East India Company. She's not a very good person, but I'm still very sad about it. Or why I can't use this. Oh, we're not considered to be in combat yet for some reason. Well, now we are. Why are you guys... Oh, because you have to... Okay. Oh god, something's... Okay... Just... Honestly, just activate that Adair. Wait, why are you not... Weren't you doing your shit?
Confound it! Had you...
Oh, Loth got interrupted. Oh, that sucks actually. Lost his spell.
It really works.
Where's Ishi?
I'm sorry, Maya. I'm really sorry. Oh, you got fucking... I think that might have hit you, but... Whoops. Hi, Daimon. Fuck. Daimon. Daimon said, "Whoa, messy breakup." Because Maya, got gibbed.
I thought we were friends. Woody, I got it.
Get out of the way.
Hey.
God. I don't even want to loot them. Yeah, like she genuinely doesn't have a body. I think she actually got gift. Holy shit.
Will do.
Azanui's crested hat. Well, it's unique. It doesn't have an ability, though. Sharpshooter's garb. This is Maya's armor. Does she still have the cool gun, the one thing you let her take? That's a good question. It doesn't look like it. Apparently she handed in my gun for a regular gun. Because it wasn't standard issue.
Yeah? I trust you.
I don't like that hat. It's not a good hat anyway, but I don't like it.
Something I can do?
Yeah, I left her with her soulbound weapon. Her soulbound, like, tree gun. It was really good.
Keep an eye.
At least Palagina's alive, I guess. Palagina didn't show up and try to kill me. I wonder if somebody always shows up. Like, I don't. Well, I think it's possible for someone to no one to leave.
You descend into the ancient winding streets of
Party
Ukaizo.
member wise.
Battered by storms for thousands of years, the ruins bear the marks of their role as the lone witnesses of the god's great secret at the center of the city. The houses and boulevards are pierced by great spears of luminous Audra. There are no ashen bodies, no birds, no sign or sound of any life. But with every step, the rhythmic pounding in the distance draws nearer. Soon, you can feel the vibration traveling up your spine.
Look at these giant skeletons.
As you approach the center of the city, the weathered architecture gives way to more luminous Audra, piercing the ruins, eventually overtaking them entirely. Cresting the top of a fallen tower, you finally get a clear view of Aethys. He stands, legs astride, next to a great stone monument ringed with 11 cavernous alcoves. All but 3 hold a gargantuan skeleton, bones scrubbed clean by the city's storms.
Oh, those are a thing. All right.
An immense Anguithan machine floats above the monument, suspended by invisible energy emanating from a well of light beneath it. Great brass rings spin around a core of metal and Audra at the machine's center. Periodically, Aethys's massive arms swing back. The movement alone is enough to draw great gusts of wind toward him. When they come down on the machine, the impacts are accompanied by eruptions of electricity, fire, and smoke. The hundreds of luminous Audra pillars across Ukaizo sympathetically dim in a rippling wave that spreads out from the machine.
I like that after all this, Aethys gets here, and he's just, like, pounding on it for, like, hours. Because we've been here for several hours at this point. And Aethys was ahead of us. He's just like possibly longer than that. He's just got to like bang on this machine. That's his plan. He's just gonna hit it really hard for a long time.
The only safe route to the god is a steep ascent along a monstrous pillar of luminous Audra. Intertwined with fragments of Ukaizo's ruins that it has carried through the centuries. The pillar bends in a long arc, towering above the machine. The pillar levels out near Aethys's head, a silent observer to the destruction of the machine it has grown beside over thousands of years. You weave your way along a treacherous, rain-slicked path up the pillar's skyward side. As you arrive at the top, you catch Aethys's attention. Fist pulled back, he pauses to observe you. With the same gentleness he showed at Ashen Maw, he lowers his arm and turns toward you.
Ahmed said, "Look at that big teal boy." Yeah, did you see the bit earlier before he went down from the tower, where we saw him animated in the background smashing this? It was pretty good. Make him your boyfriend. I don't know that I'm into the whole
in this way.
guilty bad guy.
It may be hard to picture, but this city was once full of life. The Huana, yes, but also Kith from many other cultures.
So we obviously can't have a boss fight against Aethys, because that would just not be anything. So it's interesting. I wonder what the oh, you missed it. Yeah, we had our last god conference where every god showed up. I mean, other than Aethys, obviously. And then Wodoka, of course, showed up at the end to give us her last word and yell at us some more. A lot of say nothing in that. I'm really curious how this goes, because it doesn't seem like we can have a big fight. So, like, was that our big fight? That would be really weird if that was the last, like, if there's not a big final boss fight. I mean, it'd be really neat. Can you get the other gods to give you your own Adra Golem and you can have a mecha fight? That would be amazing. I don't think that's going to happen, but that would be good.
Great hanging trees shadowed these boulevards. Gardens sprawled across the open rooftops.
We did have, when we were coming to Akaizo, there was the big monster that showed up that wanted to attack us, which Wodoka warned us about last time. And we didn't fight it. We were told we couldn't fight it. But what happened was all of a sudden a fucking giant dragon showed up and attacked us. And it's the dragon that I let go. I think the dragon from underneath Nekataka? It was like literally months ago. The 3 dragons in one. That's the monster that, yeah, was supposed to stop us. It just looked like a giant squid in the picture. But yeah, the giant dragon that we let go like months ago that I did not remember anything about it until it happened. It showed up and attacked it for us so that we could get by. It just distracted it. I was like, oh, that's okay. Kaiju fight. That's cool.
Each spring, a festival procession would wind its way from the hillside into this valley.
Yeah, this is telling us about Ukaizo when it was alive.
The celebrants would pass through a steep walk among the stalls of foreign merchants, flowers falling upon them from all sides. All people of all nations, together in a celebration of new life. Such was the power and beauty of lost Ukaizo.
I mean, they were still an empire, but yeah, I got you. Well, are we gonna go see it? Oh, hi. The soul of Widewind separates out from the masses, trailing in your wake. Right, we got this in the DLC. Widewind being the guy that Aothis possessed like 10 years before the start of the first game in the Saints War, and who was killed by the Godhammer bomb.
Been a while, old friend. Widewind, I did not think to see you here. But few things go as expected when the Watcher is involved.
Tyrant says, I remember you freeing that dragon. You were a bit sad you didn't kill it, and then it shows up and stops you from killing 3 dragons in one. Yeah, I was like, I let a dragon go? What happened? Why did I let a dragon go? I don't remember. I kill every dragon. That's my reputation.
We were a good team. Once. But this isn't what we fought for. Ain't you just burning the harvest because you planted the wrong seeds?
Yeah, Widewind.
An astute observation, old friend. Consider instead that I am giving the soil back to those who till it.
How, though? How is this doing that?
Spring must always follow winter. As long as there are people committed to finding the other side of change, the agony will not last.
Is this literally like shock doctrine? Like he's gonna disrupt society so much that they abandon the gods? Is that his plan?
But thank you for challenging me as you did in fairer times. I haven't forgotten the lesson we strove to impart.
I appreciate your input, but fuck you.
You're welcome, I suppose.
Wademan clears his throat and backs away to offer you space. Aothis shifts his attention back to you.
Mighty One, I once desired to return that power and beauty to the Huana. Now I wish only for the tribes to find it themselves. If not here, then elsewhere.
He glances at you and swallows. Like, am I supposed to talk here? Am I allowed to talk?
Was I wrong? Have I failed them?
Takehu, the gods have already decided so much of your life. I would not shape what remains of it. You know how your people could benefit from your help. You have also come to see that this life is yours to live as you choose. Deciding what course to take is not easy. But if you do not choose, your life may pass you by as you stand at the crossroads.
This isn't right. You can't put this burden on us. You can't make the gods' problems, our responsibility to fix. How can you have faith that what you're doing is good? You know how many people are going to suffer because of this. No matter how you spin this, you can't set it straight.
Adair, I wish I could explain it to you. It breaks my heart that I cannot. But no matter how much you curse me, do not despair.
One thing I do really wish about these games, and I understand why, but they just have a very limited music selection. Like, it seems like there are no scenes, however important, that get their own music. Like, I don't mind that, like, you know, there's basically one battle music track. That's fine. But there are scenes like this, or you know, some very pivotal scenes that it would be nice to get unique music.
The souls of this world will need people like you. Lights burning brightly in the darkness to come.
Obviously, it's a budget thing, though. So.
Gone, please. I'm begging you. What do I do following this? How am I to best serve those still living? To improve our future chances of survival?
The Deadfire and the Eastern Reach are full of animancers. Women and men with brilliant minds who can solve this great problem. They will also need people with brilliant souls, like you, Shodi. People who can tend to the spiritual needs of the world
in a time of fear and desperation. Remember, the flame you bear is not only light, but warmth. Provide comfort to all who need it.
Okay. So his idea is Kith are going to rebuild the wheel, but they're going to do it themselves without the gods' help. Is that his plan? And therefore they will not feel dependent on the gods? Oloth shakes his head, looking up at Aothis.
What right do you have to do this? Destroy the wheel and leave us with nothing? Without even knowing what will come next?
Aloth, we are all, gods and mortals, responsible for our own actions. But inaction carries its own moral responsibility. It is a burden I have carried for far too long. One must always do as their conscience dictates, even if that means abdicating a position of power. But what of you, Watcher? Why have you followed me? Have you come to bear witness to the breaking of the wheel?
Ho ho! Yeah, I'm just not sure. So I guess, yeah, I think I do understand his plan. And I think his plan is, and I know he did talk us through some of it the last time we talked to him, but also that was a long time ago and I don't really remember what he said. While that, yes, I've chased you for 100 hours just to watch you carry out your plan is actually an option. I mean, it does, because I think, a lot of this game is you're following Aothis initially because either the gods have told you to, or for revenge, or because you just want to know what's happening. You're told to stop Aothis, and then obviously part of the arc of this game is learning that there's, that Aothis is not just the bad guy, that there's, obviously, which we kind of, could guess from the beginning, I guess, but obviously the game is trying to lead you to a path where you could definitely come to a point of saying, actually, you know what, fuck it, just go ahead and do it. I think that's a fair, I think that is a reasonable thing to a position to end up at. I've come to ask you to take pity on the mortals of the world who suffer for your actions. I guess. Let's go with that.
It is pity for mortals that drives me, Watcher. I have felt it in every step I have taken to cross the Deadfire and reach this place. What more would you have me do?
Think of the souls that will be trapped in the in-between for all that time. They will be tormented until the wheel is fixed. Yeah, so his plan is to break the wheel to force mortals to fix it without the gods' help. And that will break mortals' belief in the gods. That's his plan. Okay. I do see the plan now. It's a real brutal plan, obviously. It is going to involve a lot of people.
It is true. While the eventual restoration of the wheel will bring them relief, they will suffer until that time comes. Thank you for making me think of the lost souls, Watcher. I will provide a haven for them after my work here is finished.
Oh. Okay. I mean, I guess that works.
Indulge me in a moment's curiosity. There is something I wish to know about Eora, about Kith, that I can only learn through your eyes.
Oh, Diamond says, I agree with you could end up agreeing with Aothas here. Just feels like if you reach the conclusion that you agree with his plan, you should have some way to help him rather than cut a bloody swath through the Deadfire just to catch up to him and give him a thumbs up. I think that's fair. Yeah, if there was kind of, if you make it clear, and perhaps this is going to happen, I don't know, that you are going to support Aothas, if the gods would then intervene directly and you have to kind of fight, you know, some kind of, the gods like summoning people in or something, and you gotta to fight them or something, that might honestly be what happens. Go on.
You followed me all this way, dodging an armada, navigating an impenetrable wall of storms, voyaging across uncharted seas, with the machinations of gods echoing in your ears. All the while trusting in the institutions of Kith to get you this far, and earning their trust in turn. Whatever else happens this day, that much is remarkable. I believe that mortals possess the strength to collaborate and shape a future of their own design. Not all of my brothers and sisters agree. By relying on others and coming together in a time of crisis, you illustrate my point. The gods will witness you and question their assumptions about how responsible, empathetic, and sophisticated mortals can be.
Yeah, those are all things that I'm like 100% on, according to my objective stats. I don't think those are actually meters on there, but like benevolent, honest, dedicated or something, determined. No, that's one of the personality traits. That's not a thing that I have. There's some of those though.
What inspired your decision, Watcher? Did the choice echo your foundational beliefs? Or were you influenced by observation?
Oh, so this is him asking why we sided with the Juana, apparently. Which is not really what I got out of the question, but that's what the answers are indicating. Yeah, I mean, the answer is... It is the Juana. It is theirs. I guess it's I want justice for the Juana. The answer is because it's their land, and if they're going to defend their land, well, I mean, it is one. Kaiser is literally their land, and then two, Kaiser will help them defend the rest of their land against the colonizers. That's why I chose the Juana.
I thank you for your perspective. Yours is not the only opinion that concerns me, but for the moment, it offers much to consider. All I ever wanted for mortals was growth, transformation. Once, my brothers and sisters shared this goal.
Some of them still do.
Some have forgotten themselves, giving into fatalism or tyranny. Others have succumbed to apathy. It brings me great sorrow that crisis is the only way to set the future in motion. Would that I could pass the responsibility of heralding your darkest hour to another. Never forget that trust and coordination between mortals brought you to this place.
Rosa?
Your future is built on a foundation of hope.
She left.
And you have laid the first stone.
Okay. Foundation of hope for change. My turn to ask questions.
Ask. You are entitled to any answer that is mine to give.
What happens after the wheel breaks?
The great work of the Ingwithans falls to ruin. Reincarnation as we know it will end. Souls which currently await new life in the beyond will be born into the world as normal, but their numbers will not replenish. Anything that dies will tarry in the void of the in-between, awaiting the motion of a wheel that no longer turns.
So they retconned this, I guess, after the fact. It's weird. I guess they couldn't get back. It's weird that they changed. So they added in Wodika's dialogue that explains this is not true. But they left this in. They didn't change this. It's also weird that they ever went with this idea, because it doesn't make any sense. Because obviously people were fucking born before the Ingwithans built the wheel.
Once the Beyond has emptied, every birth will be hollowborn. Other maladies of the soul may follow, and plague those who linger in life. Unless mortals work together to carve a new path, the essence of life will be trapped in the netherworld. Gods will starve. Eora will grow silent and cold.
Oh, okay, here we go. Why won't reincarnation just go back to how it was before the wheel? Okay, never mind. We do have the dialogue option. Okay, so I guess it's not a retcon exactly.
When we tamed the cycle of reincarnation, we broke what had once functioned naturally and without intervention.
Oh, this is a climate change thing.
Essence will not normalize on its own.
You can't just put it back. You're stuck maintaining it now because you broke it.
Essence will simply pool in the void of the in-between, never passing through Adra networks to the beyond. The dead will be left to wander in darkness, confusion, and sorrow.
Oh, so you are threatening to end all life in the universe. All this time I've just been like, no guys, you're freaking out too much. You know, people, we're gonna have a lot of Hollowborn, but people will live. It's not gonna be the end of all life. It's just gonna go back to being where it was before when it was bad. But people, still had civilization. No, you are actually gonna kill everything. With the idea of, well, you guys are gonna have to fix it before that happens. Good luck. Well, now I'm much less inclined to let him do it. That's a big risk to take. Regardless of how much people might cooperate, it relies on a level of, just technical achievement.
A generation or more. That much essence is already poised to flow into Eora. But unlike an hourglass, no amount of turning will compel the sand to reverse its course. Should you choose, you could lay down your burden and trust in your children's children to set matters right. That depends entirely on you. By your reckoning, there are still good years to come. By ours, time is short.
Uh-huh. You got 50 years to stop the ecosystem collapse, they say in 1980. You've had millennia to do this. Why now?
For several reasons. My strength was diminished after the Godhammer bomb, and assuming this form took incredible effort.
Okay, I said you've had millennia, though. The Godhammer bomb was like 15 years ago. So before the Saints War, why weren't you doing this?
With so many vying for control of the Deadfire, I also saw a ripe opportunity for mortals to cast aside their differences and stand together as one.
Well, that didn't go so well, considering I just murdered my ex-girlfriend and her boss, the leader of the Royal Deadfire Company.
They have never been more powerful, more capable. Because of this, the gods must justify their importance or be proven obsolete.
I haven't forgiven you for Cadnua.
I apologize, Watcher. There is nothing I can do to restore the glory of your hard-won and poorly situated estate. What happened to Cadnua was not personal in nature. I would have occupied the statue even if it was buried beneath Defiance Bay. Given your perseverance, I know that a second home cannot be distant in your future. You have only to seek it out.
I wish he was a little more like, really? You're concerned about that in everything else? I'm invoicing you for that, says Daimon. Wodaka sees this as a test, when we're destined to fail.
Wodaka is entitled to her opinion. If the intent of this test is to justify an uprising to come, that is more worrisome. The other gods must decide for themselves if mortals are ready to dictate their future. Should Wodaka's tyranny prove the only alternative, mortals must prepare for a terrible conflict. Your perspective bridges eternity, Watcher. Many will look to you to mediate differences that could shake the very foundations of Aora.
I mean, what he's doing threatens the gods. Yes, that's the point. And two, how could anyone trust the gods after what you've done? Again, that's entirely the point. The point is to break trust in the gods, right? He's, okay, well, let's go through the dialogue, I guess. But I don't really feel the need to do this. But I just want to see all the dialogue.
Yes. They must work toward a solution or perish.
This is the gods.
If that task is beyond their skill, then they no longer deserve their position. I would have them justify their right to lead.
Dharma says, please, won't somebody think of the gods?
That could mean swallowing their pride and hearkening to the wisdom of mortals. Some, I expect, will perform better than others.
How can anyone trust the gods?
No one is worthy of unconditional trust. If you feel the gods are beyond forgiveness, then they don't deserve your obedience. Make your future one that doesn't require them.
That's the plan.
Should you choose to accept the gods, I hope that you temper your faith with skepticism.
Okay, what happens next?
I must attend to my final work now. I cannot delay any longer.
I do wonder what happens if you meet him and you just say, I'm here to fight you. Is he just gonna laugh at you?
You have carried a heavy burden across the Deadfire, Watcher. Before I go, I would rid you of it.
I don't like the sound of that. No sooner have Aethys' words entered your mind than you hear one final, dissonant ring of the chime within you, then silence. The knot that formed when the pallid knight first addressed you in the beyond is now gone. Oh, well, that's handy. That's nice of him. I mean, obviously it's in his own interest as well, but... So we're no longer tied to Brath.
You are free now. As free as any of us can be. Many will come to you for help in the years ahead. Animancers, priests, even the gods themselves. I have great hope for you. But always remember that your future is for you to decide. Use your freedom well.
Okay.
Aethys squares himself to the machine. As you move to a safe distance, he draws his...
So there is no opportunity to actually stop him.
The blows rain down with increased fervor, but the machine perseveres in spite of his efforts. Spreading his arms wide, Aethys draws power from the luminous Audra clustered around the valley. The energy courses through his body, limbs overflowing with intense light and waves of heat.
Like, we had that dialogue option to say, I'm here to fight you, but obviously you can't fight him. I like 99% sure. So...
He returns to his task, each strike bringing with it the sound of cracking stone and twisting metal, the flickering of luminous Audra across Ukaizo. As the ancient machine finally begins to succumb to his strength, so too does Aethys' body. Built to withstand the passage of thousands of years, the great Audra statue has finally been pushed beyond its limits. Cracks appear along the hands, then race up the arms. Aethys does not slow his assault, but continues unabated. Its brass rings twisted. The machine spins erratically but withstands the relentless barrage. Aethys stands astride it and pummels the base of the machine. Soul energy begins to flare out from the machine's heart, warping the air with the intense heat. Aethys drives his right fist into the machine's center, the core of metal and Audra. The god lets out a deafening shout, something between a cry of anguish and a roar of exultation. You see Aethys' arm shatter upward from his hand through his elbow. A flash of light and heat bursts from the core, accompanied by a cacophony of destruction. The moment passes as Aethys' shout echoes throughout the valley. Your eyes begin to recover. The god's work is accomplished. The great machine of Ukaizo has been destroyed. The wheel has been unmade.
Tommen says, imagine his embarrassment if the statue broke before the machine did. Yeah, that's, coming in close there. Oh boy.
As Aethys' voice fades, the enormity of what you've accomplished
What?
sinks in.
What?
You have confronted a god. You have rediscovered the ancient city where the wheel was forged, and you have seen the wheel shattered. What comes next is uncertain, but already the legend spreads of the Watcher, who survived Andra's mortar and stood toe-to-toe with Aethys.
This can't be the end of the game. Like, all we did was walk up and talk to him and then watch him do it. We didn't do anything. We made the nothing happened. What? Like, this is so weird.
Maras Nua's body finally goes still amidst the rubble of the within machines, yet it continues to glow. Priests and mystics have strange dreams of an island of eternal dawn at the eye of a storm, a port where the tide never flows out, a roadside tavern whose door leads only inward.
Why are Magrin and Galloway here in the background? This is really... If this is actually the end of the game now, this is really strange.
As a watcher, you see what these dreamers cannot. The souls of the departed drifting toward the Audra Colossus and the twilit afterlife within.
Okay.
Whether it is a temporary haven or a permanent end will depend on what the Kith of Aora are able to accomplish on their own. The greatest hope seems to lie in the work of the ancient Angwithans and the Huana's efforts to unearth and understand it. And while Maras Nua stands frozen over Ukaizo, the gods look on the labors of Kith, but they do not intervene. They watch and argue, wager and conjecture at how or whether mortals will solve the puzzle set before them. Reclaiming Ukaizo is both a symbolic and a practical victory for the Huana. The ancient city is a potent reminder of their people's ancient glory, and it promises to be a much more easily defensible capital, especially with the storm controls of Andra's Spire close at hand. The other tribes unite under the Kahanga and dedicate themselves to rebuilding Ukaizo and relearning its secrets. The Valian Trading Company continues its operations in Deadfire, though it is forced to renegotiate many of its contracts with the newly empowered Huana Crown. Company leadership finds that the new terms are much more favorable to the tribes than to their own interests in the region.
That's right. This is so weird, though.
Due to these changes, the Valian Trading Company eventually withdraws most of its people from Deadfire.
Yes. Good riddance.
The Royal Deadfire Company is expelled from the archipelago as punishment for their attack at Andra's mortar. The storms across the Rawatayan mainland subside along with those of Andra's mortar. However, Rawatai regards this respite with a wary eye, ever mindful that the machinery at Andra's spire remains under their foes' control. With the Huana settling in at Ukaizo and both Valian and Rawatayan trade reduced, Deadfire becomes a much less tempting target for Aldi's Principe. The end of the storms at Audra's mortar, however, offers tantalizing possibilities, new lands, and fatter prizes.
And more
Aldi's leads
candy
the
nuts.
Newbloods across the sea in search of fresh adventures.
Yay! Well, she's doing well. That's good. Our backup girlfriend.
The mysterious deaths of Governor Clario and Storm Speaker Ikawa provoke hostilities between the Valian settlers and the Huawan residents. What starts with angry words escalates to retaliatory killings as each side blames the other.
I don't remember who these people are, why they died.
By the time anyone bothers to question the strange coincidences surrounding their deaths, including reports of a cloaked Amaui woman seen in both the port and the village, both sides have gone too far to turn back.
Oh, those are people we helped Maya assassinate.
The conflict eventually draws the attention of Queen Onikaza, who sends a contingent of warriors to drive the remaining Valians from the island. Port Mage becomes a cautionary tale for outsiders who would abuse the hospitality of the Huana tribes. As the balance of power changes in Deadfire, so too does Nekataka transform. Though the Kahanga monarchy moves its new seat of government to Ukaizo, Nekataka continues to be a busy and important city. The Kahanga leadership takes responsibility for the welfare of the Raparu, and the Gullet starts to improve. What was once a den of crime, poverty, and illness slowly becomes a quiet haven for the Raparu.
Alright, that's good. Cleaning up the slum, helping people out.
Ukaizo reveals more about the ancient art of water shaping than the guild could have hoped to learn in another century of work. With this new knowledge, water shapers across the archipelago wield the currents and bend the waves for the pleasure and benefit of the new Huana nation. Your brief encounter with Letharn proves deeply influential for the children of the Dawnstars.
I don't remember who that is.
Plagued with nightmares and haunted by the deaths at Hesango, Letharn begins questioning his faith in Aethys. At first, his fellow Dawnstars chide him, but that changes as word of Aethys' deeds at Ukaizo spreads. After all, what business have they worshipping a god who denied his own legitimacy? The children of the Dawnstars respond to Aethys' sacrifice by taking up the lanterns and sickles of the Harvesters of Gone. They become pilgrims of essence, gathering souls across Aora and ferrying them to the haven within the Audra Colossus. Others will repair or rebuild the wheel one day. In the meantime, the Dawnstars will care for the souls of the dead.
Okay.
Ruanu, the chieftain of the Huana at Tikawara, dies mysteriously. The tribe finds his body washed up on the same beach where Anaharu challenged him to the trial of waves. Some blame Anaharu's vengeful spirit. Others see it as Ngati's final judgment. And a few speak of a strange man seen lingering in the village.
I don't remember who the strange man is, but I kind of remember this story, or that quest.
The leaderless tribe eventually scatters. Some head to Nekataka, while others seek out the Wahaki.
Okay, I mean...
The dragon, Neraskirlas, no longer passes between Aora and the White Void, and the dead flow slowly breaks apart, exposing the temple long frozen within.
Okay, so the DLC.
Under Halfyorn's guidance, the Harbingers of Dusk resettle within Remergon's temple, vowing to forever protect it from the defiling touch of outsiders. Over time, the group becomes increasingly reclusive and fanatical, attacking any who dare approach their holy site.
Oh, that's not great.
In besting the Beast of Winter, you earned the Death God's mercy rather than his enmity. The deity remains characteristically unforthcoming about his decision, and you're left to wonder whether in doing battle with him in the White Void, you somehow furthered his apocalyptic ambitions. Released from their bondage to the sightless eye, the Vithrak of the Halls Obscured abandon the Black Isle and resettle in the deepest and darkest recesses of the ruins beneath Nekataka. Sisak and his colony remain secretive and isolated, however, rarely interacting with those Kith crawling about in the sunlight above.
Sweet spider guys. Oh yeah, these. So this is. I remember this. This is the like the dead city. This is where you go down, take the elevator down in Nekataka down to the old ruins. So that's where they resettle. Well, that's nice. I mean, they're rarely doesn't mean never. They're getting out there a little bit within their comfort zone.
Encouraged by her arcane successes, Bakarna returns to her observatory to continue her studies of the celestial spheres. In time, her colleagues in the Circle of Archmagi come to accept her among their number. She takes on apprentices, and they trumpet her praises as both a brilliant innovator and nurturing pedagogue.
Well, that's good.
Slain by your hand, the Titan of Wal poses little further threat to Aora. As the corpse decays, it putrefies into a massive nest of hungry fungal monstrosities. Vessels that anchor off the shores of the Black Isles tend to go missing, only to turn up shipwrecked months or even years later against distant shores. With time, the body collapses upon itself, and the Black Isles finally implode.
Okay. I also thought the ending was going to take longer. I didn't actually think I was going to finish today.
Seeking a living receptacle for the essence contained within the tomes you unearthed in the Halls Obscured, Langgrath devotes herself to study of the Godseed. She occasionally contacts you, usually on Dragonback, to solicit your expertise and advice. Her progress with the ancient Anguithan device remains steady, if excruciatingly slow.
I really like that Lengrath and I are friends now, and she shows up on her dragon. And we can just laugh about that time when she showed up with 2 dragons, and I killed her and the 2 dragons because I was like, I'm not gonna give up the chance to fight 2 dragons and an archmage at once. Daimon said, if there isn't a story card for Worthless Idiot and Mother Sharprock, there will be an angry letter heading Obsidian's way. Oh man. I'm glad you remembered their names. Yeah. I don't remember the name of my my Vithrak crew, but I'm pretty sure I have a Vithrak crew as well.
Though your adventures alter the destiny of Aora and the balance of power in Deadfire, they also leave a lasting mark on those who travel at your side. Your companions find themselves changed in ways both big and small.
Yeah. Big change. Well, let's see if we talk about the crew here as well as our party members.
Adair returns to Hisongo, where he reunites with Byrne, the son of his former lover,
Oh.
Alova. The boy takes heart in Adair's account that Aethys and all the other gods were false, petty, and unworthy of the love of Kith. Realizing how close he came to dying for this cause, Byrne finds renewed purpose in working alongside his uncle to repair
His
the many
uncle!
scars left upon Deadfire by the gods.
In quotes.
Under Adair's guidance, Byrne grows into the kind of irreverent, stubborn hothead that would have made his mother proud. And Adair visits her gravesite, often to tell her so.
Daimon asks, so was Ukaizo just a couple of boss fights? So Ukaizo was a ship fight? A couple of ship fights, I guess. Before we actually got to it. And then in Ukaizo proper, we walked through the promenade, or we walked, there was the docks, we traveled to the promenade, which we walked through when it was stormy. We walked up a tower and had a long scene with Takehu where he finds out, like, he kind of learns the true secret of water shaping or whatever, and then we shut off the machine, which shut off the storm, and that's when we get to see, you can see, then all of a sudden you can see Aothas in the background, and you couldn't see him before, and he's giant and pounding away. We walked back down to the tower, had our boss fight, I guess, if you want to call it that, against Rawatai, against the Hazanui, where we killed Maya. And then we went and talked to Aothas. So there's literally one fight in Ukaizo proper. That's why it's really weird. Like, there's like very little to Ukaizo.
Shodi is not a priestess who understands the meaning of subtlety.
Yeah, same Daimon.
As such, she makes her girlish crush on Adair painfully obvious from the moment she first sets eyes on the strapping fighter. Early in your travels, Adair appears discomforted by her persistent.
Yes, this is all stuff that happened.
He often grimaces when she sidles up to him, and he takes endless pains to keep their conversations terse and to the point.
This is just describing stuff that happened in the game.
To nudge them in the right direction, Adair makes an effort to view Shodi with an open mind, and Shodi begins teasing the veteran fighter in a more companionable and less amorous manner. After saving each other's hides a couple times and sharing more than a few laughs, the two form an easy, and you suspect, lifelong friendship.
Okay. I guess Chody learns to, kind of grows up. That's good. We can also, I guess we can turn this off real quick, since there's no cats here anyway. I don't think we've been missing a lot there, but just in case.
Seemingly lit with an inner glow, Shodi takes to a new life of mission work with gusto. She still is committed to shepherding souls forgone, but having realigned her goals with that of her fellow Dawn Stars, she now endeavors to help the living as much as the dead. As you travel the Deadfire, you find her sleeping better and laughing more often. When the time comes for her to return to her temple in Nekataka, it's with a clear wistfulness and much lip biting on her part.
Much lip biting.
She leaves you with her sickle and a hastily scrawled note. It reads, "A keepsake from a path once walked. Remember me, Watcher, for I will forever dream of you."
I would have expected that to be read in Chody's voice. That's an interesting choice.
Aloth renews his commitment to destroying the Leaden Key. With the wheel broken, loosening the god's stranglehold on Kith is more urgent than ever. It is a lofty goal, and one he does not expect to finish in his lifetime. But if there's one thing he's learned from the Watcher, it's that a single person can change the world. You let Rimaro go, and the former pirate ostensibly set sail for the trade lanes of the Eastern Reach, the Edier Empire, Old Valia, and the Republics. For the remainder of your time together, Seraphin seems, if not exactly happy, at least contented with the outcome of your confrontation with his former mentor at Sayuka.
There's some real detail on these braids. Also kind of forgot that Seraphin existed.
And yet, when the two of you part, Seraphin seems emboldened, invigorated by a new sense of purpose. He buys you a drink, toasts to the Deadfire, says, "Let's see if we can make something worth a shit out of what's left of these Principe swabs," and sets sail the next morning. In the years to follow, rumors occasionally reach you of the Blue Orlan pirate of the Deadfire, a privateer captain as keen to free slaves or fight foreign influence as he is to plunder and pillage.
I hope I gave him one of my ships. I have 3, so...
After reporting back to her superiors for the Watcher's actions against the Valian Trading Company, Palagina is rewarded with reassignment home to the Valian Republics. She spends the next several years as the head of the household guard for the Duke of Anchenze, In this role, she is often lauded for her courage and loyalty. Even with all of the praise, there's still times when she cannot help but feel she could have had more influence on what transpired in the Deadfire.
Well, you would have had to betray the Republics again. You refused this time.
Pallegina renews her relationship with Giacomo, corresponding with him regularly, and even meeting with the old Animancer once or twice a year. Though she does not understand the intricate details of his research, she reads his letters and responds with great enthusiasm. Her brothers, and even the dukes themselves, note that Pallegina's demeanor is always warmer on the days when she receives a letter. Rumors even spread that some of the brothers have seen her smile.
Aww.
Takehu distances himself from the problems of the Deadfire, giving the tribes a reprieve from godlike omens. Ngati's silence speaks volumes. The Huana grow to rely on each other, paving a new way forward divorced from their traditions. Soon after his departure from Nekataka, sailors report of mountainous water sculptures rising from the open sea, entrancing and salacious. These works are celebrated everywhere, from the brothel to the palace, though the identity of the artist remains an open question.
Salacious? Really? I mean, that is very Takeru, I guess.
Your farewell is short and cordial. Nothing further needs to be said, and you wish each other well. Takehu does not look back. The sea feels restless in his absence. Your pursuit of Aethys and your journey to Ukaizo signal the end of forces that have shaped the lives of Kith and the course of nations. The cycle of reincarnation has been broken. The storms of Andra's mortar have calmed. Yet each ending promises a new beginning. As the sun rises over Ukaizo, Kith turn their gaze eastward, wondering at what lies beyond, and at the world they will fashion for themselves. As the Watcher of Cadnua and the former Herald of Bareth, you return to your ship and begin the long journey home. You hope for calm weather.
I think I'm also the former Watcher of Cadnua, considering Cadnua does not exist anymore. What shall we say Takeru does, says Daimon. Who cares? No one likes him. Say he makes perverted sculptures out of water or something. This seems nicer than how Elvac left his world. Well, I started from a nicer place. We'll see where Elvac's world ends up. Hopefully he'll share it with us. I really want to. I'm very curious to see how all of those god conferences work when all of the gods hate you. No crew slides. Okay, it's trying to crash. I hope it doesn't crash. No, I wanna listen to credits music and watch credits. Oh, there we go. Okay. There we go. Well, I guess we did it. What? What the hell is versus evil? I don't even know what that is. Oh, man. Well, this is, by quite a bit now, the longest game that I've streamed. Or the game I've streamed for the longest. And it's good. I think the ending is really strangely done in that, like, there's no because it's not even, it doesn't feel like it's a confrontation. So the gods build it up a lot. I mean, maybe you can be a lot more confrontational and argumentative with Aothis, but it doesn't seem like, it doesn't really seem like you can. And it's not really a climax. It's just kind of a, you know, because I'm all for the idea of a climatic conversation, that the game, you know, that it's not a big fight, it's a big conversation, but it doesn't really feel like it's a climatic conversation, because it's just like, he's gonna do what he's gonna do, and it's not really any different from what it was the last time you talked to him. It's like, you figure it out. Well, he tells you when you finally talk to him at Magrin's whatever, and then you're like, oh man, he's gonna destroy the wheel, what does that mean? And we're trying to, all this stuff, and then you kind of get there and it's just like an acceptance, I guess. It kind of works that way, of like this pursuit that ends in acceptance, but that's a real, like, a deliberate anticlimax. But that is a weird, it's a real weird thing to end the game with, especially in a you know, an RPG like this. It's yeah, I mean, like Diamond said a while ago, I was expecting Ukaizo to be a, you know, a big dungeon with a lot of fights. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking it was going to take more than one stream even. And it's really just like, yeah, you just get there and then you don't do anything. Like, so that's weird. But I mean, I think if you know, in Pillars 1, I've said many times when I've played this game that I think the ending of Pillars 1 is good, and I think a lot of the rest of that game doesn't really work very well, because it's, so I think this game is like the reverse in a way, and I still like the end of this game. I think it, like I said, I don't think it feels really weird, but I wouldn't necessarily say it's bad. But I think everything else about this game, all the faction stuff, works way better than it does in 1, because it's a, like, thing that covers across the whole game. Whereas, like, you know, when we were watching the ending of Elvek's playthrough of 1 last night, and it was like, I couldn't even remember what the factions are in that game, because they're only in the one city that you deal with in the mid game for like a few quests, and that's supposed to be the big faction thing. It's like, it doesn't, and also they're all terrible. Like, they try to make it like, oh, you don't know who to side with, and the way they did that was making them all bad. Whereas I think the ones in here are all, they're not as openly bad. I mean, I think I kind of, you know, for me, I made the only choice that I felt like I could have made in terms of who to side with, but it was still like, I see more where people would go, especially with the Principe. I could see a lot of people siding with, probably, and of course you could side with no one. Which would be curious how that works out. I'm very curious to go look at all the ending stuff and all these other possibilities now that I finish the game. All the stuff I've avoided looking at on the wiki. Yeah, I think all that stuff works. I think the god stuff works really well. I've said this, that I think the game, the story, the setting is much more interesting once you know about the reality of the gods, which you don't find out until the very end of the first game. So I think knowing that and having that context, and then having these interactions with the gods, works really well in this game. It's not really something that you could have done in the first game, I think, but I think it does make this game a lot better. Yeah, so I think that, like, both of the kind of big stuff, the god stuff and the faction stuff, the kind of political stuff, works way better in this game than in the first game. I mean, and just the nature of, like, the kind of open world, but, like, I mean, you know, it's more of a traditional, like, old school RPG, like Baldur's Gate or something, you know, where it's obviously just a set of maps with a map that you're going around on. I mean, I think the ship stuff is really cool, even if the ship combat itself is not good, but it's a really neat idea. and it really does give a lot to kind of the feel of the game. Just in general, I like a lot of stuff, and the new characters in this game are generally really good. I mean, I kind of hate Takeyu, but I don't know that Takeyu's really a bad character. I just don't like him personally. Chody is great, and as like she's great at being a character that's not really, it's not likable necessarily in a conventional way, but she's a really enjoyable character, I guess. Like she's to be annoying, which is a hard thing to I think do. I think that's really neat. Of course, I love Maya, and a lot of like even the DLC characters I think are really good. The DLC party members. This game's good. That's my opinion. Like as far as there's the DLC we didn't play. Yeah, as far as these kind of big party RPGs, this Baldur's Gate style thing that is like still operating within a kind of fairly conventional space. This is really good. One of the best of those games, I think. I don't know how it works if you don't, do everything, because these games are very much, I think, there's a level of like, quantity over quality. Not that it's low quality, but like, there's a level of, with these games where you inhabit the world for so long and have so much exposure to so much stuff in it that it really does give you, it becomes a quality of the game that is a very distinct thing. So I'd be curious about, like, I can't imagine like having to review this game, right? Like when you're trying to play it on release and trying to play it quickly, like that just sounds like, I mean, obviously, I really like the way that I play games now. Like the way that I play games on stream, where it's like, 3 hours once a week, I think it's honestly a very like optimal way to experience a lot of games. And even a game like this that just takes an immense amount of time. We did play this one. Fiona says, I need to play these, and then Diamond said, I'm perfectly happy letting Seawolf play this for me. I'm very happy to have seen it through. Well, I'm glad that you guys are here for the ending. And I'm glad, yeah, Diamond, you have been here so much. Like, for most of this game. Yeah, Ashley Johnson played the narrator and Edwin. Yeah. I feel like I missed a big chunk in the middle. You might have, but hey, it's a immensely, obviously it's been a very long, this is longer than Inquisition was, and a lot of the middle was just side quests, so. Because the main quest actually is not that long. It's not super long at all. Especially if you skipped doing the faction stuff, because you can skip doing the faction stuff. The factions would add a lot to it if you... Yeah, most of the chunk in the middle of side quests, yeah. Nothing huge missed, yeah. It would be really God, it would be such a weird experience to go through the main quest in this game quickly, because every time you do the main quest, a new main quest, you have the God Conference afterwards. And, like, having those spaced out to be, you know, every couple of weeks at most, this would be very different, you know, from like, having those over and over in a row. That would be weird. Alright, we're going to speed up now, because now we're into the actual Kickstarter backers, who are not people who worked on the game. Sorry, guys, I'm sure your investment is appreciated, but also that's what it is. People who put money into it. Alright. Whoops. Wasn't trying to click that. What did I even click? Oh, Forgotten Sanctum. Alright. Yeah, the only thing we didn't do was Seeker Slayer Survivor. And the boss monsters. So next week, I'm gonna see how I feel. What I was thinking originally, and I haven't decided, is to actually come back into this, go back to our save beforehand, pre-endgame save, and try out those like world bosses, the kind of Final Fantasy style world bosses that are in this game that are optional. That we tried 2 of them for a while when we first encountered them and got our asses kicked, because we were not max level. I mean, one we did okay against, but the spider, we figured out how to do it. I just couldn't do it because it just took forever. I am kind of actually curious, because I do like the combat in this game, which I know a lot of people don't. I'm curious to go back and try those. So we might just have a stream of going back and trying to do that. To do those. There's like 3 of them, I think. I'll have to look up where they actually are. So that's what is probably going to be next week. I'll go to schedule though. But if that's not next week, or if we do that next week, then the week after that, what we will be doing is starting Tyranny, which is going to be an interesting. If you don't know what Tyranny is another of these games, another party-based, like, pseudo-isometric RPG, also made by Obsidian. Daimon says, really? One, it's a lot shorter. It's much, much, much shorter than this game. So that was my one trepidation about going into it immediately, is I don't normally go into a game that is a similar type immediately after finishing a game. But yeah, the estimates are like 20 to 30 hours, which is obviously still not, it's not super short, but it's way, way, way shorter than this game. And the reason, so one, I got the game for free. It was free on Twitch Prime at some point. And Sophie is a big fan of Tyranny. So she might come on at some point if we can get her, if she's not asleep. She might come on and for that. So that's, I told her that I would play that. Yeah, Tyranny is kind of the counterpart to this game, I guess, in that it was made around the same time. I'm not sure which one was first. And it, made by different people within Obsidian, I think. I mean, I'm sure there's some crossover, but Tyranny has more, like, Chris Avellone worked on Tyranny. She did not work on Deadfire, I believe. Or if he did, he was a very small part on Deadfire. I don't know how I'm going to feel about Tyranny, to be honest. I don't know that I'm actually going to like that game. But I have said that I will play it. I told Sophie I would play it. And I'm curious about it. Curious to see how it works. So, yeah, that's either in next week or 2 weeks. That's what we'll be doing. yeah, tomorrow, of course, is more of the Shadows of Hong Kong epilogue campaign of Shadowrun Hong Kong. We're almost done with that. We have... Last time we did the one side quest, which was really long. It took all 3 hours entirely of side quest. So tomorrow we have to go around talking to people, do our post-mission talking to people, and then start the second side quest. And then after the second side quest, we will have the main quest for that epilogue. My guess for the next game would be Divinity, so by comparison, I guess Tyranny is a short and sweet palate cleanser. Yeah, I mean, Divinity... I have, like, my how long to beat estimates are written down, which and I usually take the, like, not the 100% estimates, but then also, like, the middle estimates, the ones that aren't just main path, but also aren't 100%. Of course, I do tend towards the 100%, so it's probably going to be longer than this, and the estimate I have written down for that is 80 hours for Divinity. So, I'm not in a hurry to do that. Also, though, Daimon, that's not what's going to be after Tyranny. I could tell you it's going to be after Tyranny, but it might be more fun to wait and see. But that might happen at some point. So yeah, we're gonna do Shadows of Hong Kong tomorrow. Yeah, this is the rest of the schedule. It's also below the stream. You can follow my notifications when I go live. You can sub for emotes with my cats, of course. Yeah, I appreciate all of you so much for hanging out and chatting, especially those of you who are here like all the time, it feels like. You guys are great, all of you, obviously. And thank you, Fiona. Fiona says we appreciate you. Yeah, I hope you guys all have a good night. Bye. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna... One second. Okay, I'm gonna have to do this. I'm gonna copy real quick. I don't know that anyone actually heard the song I played at the start of this. So I'm gonna play it again for the outtake here. The outtake or whatever, the outro. If I can find it. Thank you. Alright. Bye, guys.
Thought I'd see how it feels if I knew how it felt. Head full of big ideas with no secrets to tell. I can't handle none of this. I want to hurt myself. Not summon a big night, just a touch of your skin, creeping in the background, blowing on the wind. I'll sleep until morning, through a crack inside. Just in this demon.